You know, one of the hardest truths in marriage is realizing that love doesn't always end with a loud argument or a dramatic goodbye. Sometimes it fades quietly, in small habits, in silence, and in the way someone stops looking at you the same way they once did. If you've ever felt like something's changed between you and your husband, if he's there but somehow not really there, then pay attention. Because men who don't love their wives anymore often reveal it, not in what they say, but in what they do. Today, we're going to talk about 11 subtle and sometimes shocking behaviors men start showing at home when the love in their hearts begins to disappear. And trust me, once you notice them, you can't unsee them. So, let's begin. When a man falls out of love, the first thing to vanish isn't always his presence, it's his interest. He might still sit beside you, still share the same bed, still eat the same dinner, but emotionally, he's drifted miles away. You can sense it in the silence that follows your jokes, the empty, when you talk about your day, and the way his eyes are always on his phone instead of on you. When love fades, curiosity dies. He stops asking how you feel, stops noticing when something's wrong, and worst of all, stops caring enough to ask why. That's the first silent signal. Then comes the change in energy. When a man loves his wife, he's engaged, maybe not perfect, but present. He talks, he teases, he laughs, he helps, he tries. But when that love dies, his home turns into a place he merely exists in. He doesn't look forward to coming home anymore. He lingers at work, spends extra hours out with friends, or sits in his car for a few minutes before walking in, as if mentally preparing himself for a place that no longer feels like peace. Home, the place that once felt warm and alive, starts feeling like a quiet battlefield. And when that emotional disconnect deepens, communication becomes shallow or stops altogether. Conversations become transactional. Did you pay the bills? What's for dinner? Did you get the groceries? There's no emotional depth, no shared dreams, no real connection. It's like two roommates sharing a roof but living separate lives. And here's the thing, most women feel it before they can even explain it. It's that gut feeling that tells you something's wrong. Then there's affection, or rather, the lack of it. He used to hug you for no reason, kiss you on the forehead, touch your hand while talking. Now, nothing. The distance between you becomes physical too. He avoids intimacy. The hugs feel cold, the kisses are rushed, if they happen at all. And if you try to close the distance, he might pull away, saying, "I'm tired," or "I've just got a lot on my mind." But deep down, you know, it's not stress, it's detachment. Next comes the shift in tone. Men who no longer love their wives often grow irritated easily. Things that never bothered him before suddenly become huge problems. He criticizes how you cook, how you talk, even how you breathe sometimes. Every little thing turns into an argument. It's as if he's searching for reasons to be angry, not because of what you did, but because anger is easier than admitting he's emotionally checked out. And when he's not angry, he's indifferent, which can hurt even more. Then there's comparison. You'll notice he starts praising other women in subtle ways. She really takes care of herself. She's so driven and ambitious. She's fun to talk to. It may sound harmless, but those words often come from emotional displacement. The part of him that once admired you is now redirecting that admiration elsewhere. He might not even realize it, but emotionally, he's already halfway out the door. Another painful sign? He stops defending you. Before, he'd have your back. In public, in front of family, in small disagreements. Now he lets others talk down to you. Or worse, he joins them. It's a quiet betrayal. Because love protects. And when he stops protecting, it's not just love that's fading, it's respect. And then there's avoidance. When love dies, men often hide behind distractions: work, phone, gym, or friends. Anything to avoid facing the emotional emptiness at home. You'll see him glued to his screen for hours, scrolling through meaningless videos, laughing at things that don't matter, because it's easier to escape into a screen than to face what's real. You'll sense it. His body is home, but his heart is elsewhere. Another big indicator? He stops planning a future with you. He no longer talks about vacations, goals, or dreams you once shared. You bring something up. We should take that trip next summer, and he just shrugs. His words become vague. We'll see. Maybe later. I'm not sure. It's because he's already imagining a future that doesn't include you. And when things truly reach that cold, quiet breaking point, there's one more thing he does. He stops trying to make you happy. Before, even small things mattered. He'd bring your favorite coffee, remember little details, or do something special just because. Now, he doesn't even notice when you're sad. Your tears don't move him, your happiness doesn't excite him, and your silence doesn't bother him. It's not cruelty, it's emotional absence. He's no longer invested in your joy because he's no longer emotionally connected to your world. And finally, perhaps the hardest truth of all, he starts rewriting history. You'll hear him say things like, "You've changed. We've never really been happy. You're always like this." He begins to paint the relationship as something that was never right, as if to justify his detachment. This rewriting of memories is often the final stage, when love has already turned into resentment or regret. Now, if you're watching this and quietly realizing, that sounds like my husband, please remember something. It doesn't automatically mean he's stopped loving you forever. Sometimes, love isn't gone. It's just buried under frustration, exhaustion, or emotional distance. But it does mean something has to change. Because love doesn't survive in silence. It needs communication, effort, and care from both sides. If he's showing these signs, you don't have to fight harder for attention. You have to fight smarter for connection. Instead of chasing affection, create space for honesty. Instead of blaming, start understanding what caused the drift. And if he refuses to meet you halfway, then you have your answer. A man who truly loves his wife never stops trying. Even when times are hard, even when he's frustrated, he still shows up. He still listens, apologizes, and works to make it right. But when he stops doing these things, when he stops caring, stops talking, and stops feeling, it's not just love that's gone, it's partnership. And that's when you have to decide. Are you going to keep waiting for him to come back on his own? Or are you going to take back control of your peace? Because love is never meant to feel like punishment. It's supposed to feel like home. And when your home no longer feels safe, you owe it to yourself to rebuild your peace, with or without him. If this message resonated with you, don't forget, you're not alone. Many people silently go through this heartbreak, but awareness is power. When you see the signs clearly, you can choose what to do next, from a place of strength, not confusion. Because sometimes, the bravest thing a woman can do is stop trying to fix a love that stopped trying for her